If you're into traditional British beer styles, then stick around because today we are brewing a British strong ale. What's up guys, it's Zach here from Homebrew. Welcome back to another grain to glass video. This video we are brewing a British strong ale. If you're not familiar with the style, it's usually a fairly strong, heavily malt forward beer, lower levels of bitterness with a big sort of full body chewy mouthfeel. The BJCP themselves actually say it's more of a competition entry category than a style as such, because there's quite a lot of crossover. So British strong ales can be quite similar to old ales, just without the aged character. They can be sort of similar to Scotch ales, wee heavies, those kind of beers. But in essence, it's a malt forward, chewy, full-bodied, really tasty beer, and it's a style that I really particularly enjoy. This one is actually a tweaked version of another beer I brewed a while back. That did quite well in a competition. It scored, I think, 31 average. But the overall feedback was that it was lacking a little bit of complexity in the malt bill. So with this beer, that's exactly what I've tried to do. So as always, normally prep my water the night before. However, life got in the way, so I prepped it on the day. Again, I've used Tesco Ashbeck water, as I always do. Again, I'll link the profile up the top there. For this one, the water profile I've targeted was actually the brown malty one. It's one of the presets on Brewfather. The main points note on that is that there's a slightly higher chloride ratio than sulfate, slightly higher chloride to sulfate ratio. Nothing in the realms of sort of New England IPA territory. It's fairly balanced, but because this is very malt forward and I want that full body, I've got slightly more chloride than sulfate. Again, that's linked above so you can have a look. Stuck all my water salts in, and then I've heated the water up to mash temperature. Onto the recipe itself then. The main base malt for this is going to be Maris Otter, so we're at 85% Maris Otter. On top of that, I've got 5% of chocolate malt. That should lend some nice colour to it and give us some of those darker, chocolatier flavours towards the end, but what we don't want is the roastiness, so there's not a great deal of that in there. We've then got 5% of wheat. That will aid with head retention and also assist in giving it that full body. And then, based on the feedback from my last time I brewed this, I've added 2 separate crystal malts in, so they should give us some caramel notes and a few other bits. But what I've done is I've gone for 2.5% extra light crystal and 2.5% crystal malt. This beer we're going to mash at 68 degrees Celsius. That will again assist with that full body, bit of extra mouthfeel just with the extra temperature on there. So that should come out really nice. And as you can see, this is mashing away nicely. It's got an absolutely lovely colour and it really is looking spot on at the moment. Right, the mash was completed, so I've raised it up to 75 degrees C for a mash out step. I will leave it there for 10 minutes and then I will sparge in my normal way. So I'll raise the grain basket and sparge with a jug through the top, nice and slowly, let it do its thing, and finally I'll squeeze it to get all of the last bits out, get as much beer as I can out of this one. Sparge is done, so I have now started to heat up towards boil temperature. While I do that, I will do a bit of cleaning as I usually do, so I'll clean the malt pipe. I'll also bag up all of my spent grain, which, as I always do, I will send to the man with the rescue chickens. He can feed the chickens with that. He'll just come and collect them. We are now at a nice steady rolling boil. The boil for this one is 90 minutes. I don't know whether that's strictly necessary, but it's quite a traditional thing and I wanted to sort of stick with that. At the 90-minute mark, we are putting in 40 grams of Challenger to build up our bitterness levels to where we want them. Following on from that, there won't be any other additions until the 15-minute mark, where I'll add some yeast nutrient and a Protafloc tablet. At the 10-minute mark, I will add 20 grams of East Kent Goldings, and at flame out, so when I turn the heaters off, I will add another 20 grams of East Kent Goldings, and that is it for hops. I will then chill it down and put it in the fermenter. And then in terms of the fermentation, we're looking at 20 degrees C ferment. So this has now been put in the fermenter. As I said earlier, we'll be fermenting at 20 degrees C. I'm just going to leave it at that temperature until it's done. For the yeast, we are using 2 packets of WHC's Bond yeast. I have used that before and it worked really nicely. It's sort of a traditional English ale strain. It ferments beautifully between 18 and 22 degrees. It's quick. It worked really well for me last time. However, if you didn't want to use that, there's a whole host of other English ale strains you could use out there. You could pretty much get away with anything that says it's an English ale strain. You just want a little bit of that yeast character in there. We don't want something that's too clean, because traditionally these beers had a bit of sort of yeast character to them. Right, as expected, fermentation on this beer went relatively quickly. It was pretty much finished within about 3 days, maybe 4 at the most. So I gave it a full week in the fermenter just to clean itself up. Following that, we did a 2-day cold crash. It's now time to package. So the plan is we're going to put 8 litres in one of these Kegland Oxybar kegs and get that on tap on the kegerator. The rest we are going to bottle condition. That's how it would traditionally be done, and I want to do this as traditionally as possible. And equally, it gives me a chance to sort of compare the bottle conditioned version to the keg conditioned version and see how much of a difference there is. Personally, I think the bottle conditioned version might come out slightly better, but anyway, time will tell. But enough waffle, let's get it done. Right, the final product then. So this one came out at 6%. The plan was to do a comparison between the bottles and the little 8 litre Oxybar keg, but in all honesty, I liked it so much, the keg's nearly finished, so I thought I'd better get the video ready and get it out. This has come out exactly as I wanted it. Doesn't always happen, but it really has this time. So as you can see, it's nice and dark, nice tight head on it. Smell-wise, it just smells really malty, and it's got a real nice chocolatey sort of scent to it. It's not overpowering, it just smells really malt forward, no hop character, there's not meant to be, and just a nice chocolatey note to it. Well, that's good. In terms of the mouthfeel, so I added some wheat to it and mashed at 68 degrees C, and with the water profile I used, that has done exactly what I wanted. It's got a nice full body to it, which just really lends itself nicely to that sort of malty backbone and the chocolatey flavours. Ah, that is really, really good. Flavour-wise, it's as you'd expect. Extremely malt forward, no hop character whatsoever. It's a dark beer, but there's no roast character there, which is exactly what I wanted. It's got a really nice chocolatey note at the end that just works perfectly. It's exactly what I wanted, this beer. It's very rare I say that, but there honestly isn't much I would change in that beer. If I was to brew it again, I might try some different yeasts, just try a few different yeast strains and see what sort of characters they can lend to it. But in terms of the actual recipe, the only thing I might slightly do is dial back the chocolate malt ever so slightly, but only by like a couple of grams, maybe 10, 20 grams. I really do like the chocolatey flavour on there, but for some people it might be a touch too chocolatey, if that makes sense. But all in all, that is a really nice beer. 8 litres of it has gone way too fast, so we'll see how the bottles come out. But again, thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to check out my other videos. I've got several other grain to glass videos, a few tutorials and bits and bobs. If you like this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. Cheers.